My business partner, Eddie Washington, he came to me about 6 months ago now and told me about ABAs, essentially. He told me about how there's a long waiting list and that kids with autism are struggling to find clinics that can support their needs, speech, occupational, and behavioral. And so immediately, it kind of tugged at my heart because of the population that I hire at Howdy. And so Eddie and I teamed up and said, well, let's open one and let's see if we could tap into that statistic and help out that population.
And it's more than just for kids with autism.
Yes,
right?
yes,
yeah. What kind of kids?
Well,
you guys take.
We focus on kids with autism. So our clinic focuses on kids with autism, 18 months to 6 years of age. So we provide occupational therapy, speech therapy, and behavioral therapy.
Let the priceless, take it to the moon. Priceless, one day will be soon. Let it's priceless.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of D-Talk with Dr. Pham, one and only. So today we got something special for you. This is my boy Roderick. He's an entrepreneur. I've known him probably 4 or 5 years, Roderick?
Yeah, going on 5 years now.
Yeah. So Roderick and I, one thing we have in common is Roderick's in the medical field also. One thing we got in common is our kind of love for children and stuff. And so it's just, I figured on this episode, I want to bring someone in, talk about like philanthropy. And then I don't know if you guys heard of Howdy Ice Cream, but that's it. That's my boy right here. He basically started the Howdy Ice Cream, and I'll let him talk more about their mission. But when he told me about Howdy Ice Cream, because I know I'm lactose intolerant, but man, I go to HEB, got to pick me up a pint of that, and I'll pay for it later. So Roderick, thanks for being here, brother.
Man. Thanks. Anytime he calls, I'm coming.
Oh yeah, this man, he's badass. So tell me a little bit about what's going on,
Yeah. So since you already spoke on Howdy, I guess I'll touch where you left off. So Howdy Homemade Ice Cream is a homemade ice cream shop. We're located in Katy, I-10 and West Green. And what makes us unique is that we hire individuals with special needs. So 90% of our staff has special needs. And so it's been a very touching business venture, to me and my family, because this population of individuals don't have the same opportunities that we have, So it's a blessing to see them work and come to work every day and love what they're doing and earn a honest paycheck, And so we're the only ice cream company that has that type of population working for us. And 2 years ago when I started it, I was kind of unsure on, how the community would embrace it or whatnot. But it's been nothing short of a blessing the entire time since July 22nd of 2021. And so it's great. If you haven't heard of Howdy Homemade Ice Cream, come check us out, and you'll be inspired just like I am every day when I see this population of individuals.
That's amazing, brother, what you did, for these kids. Now, tell me a little bit about this new charity. So I think you have a new charity, nonprofit. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. It's called Katy Angels. And so I teamed up with a great friend of mine, Jake and Ariel Gottfried. And so for so many years, I just gave out of my pocket, man, to, for Christmas, I would invite 50 individuals from like Section 8 housing in Houston.
Yeah, I remember that. I went to one of those.
Yeah, you came.
That was awesome.
We bought the cars and free haircuts for the kids. It was a good time. And so for years, I would just, out of my own pocket, do so much throughout the year for kids. But I didn't have a nonprofit. I didn't have a 501c3. So, I was just out of the greatness of my heart, I was doing it. And I teamed up with a friend of mine, Jake, and his wife, and we started Katy Angels. And so Katy Angels essentially focuses on individuals in the Katy community that are going through hardships, right? So we didn't put ourselves in a box. It's for single moms. It's for, war veterans. It's for people that may have lost their job. I mean, it's for anybody who may have fell on hard times and that just needs a little assistance, a little help.
That's
and so
awesome.
we provide groceries. We provide essentials, canned goods. We're teaming up with barbers in the community to cut the kids' hairs for free. I mean, there's so many arms to Katy Angels that we're just trying to provide, for the community. But that's the newest venture. We started it maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and we've helped over 60 families, I think, to date. And
wow,
so,
that's amazing.
It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to touch on with you now, you're such an entrepreneur, man. That's which is good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But tell me a little about this this kind of a speech therapy clinic that you just opened up.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's called Essential Speech and ABA. So it's a behavioral clinic for kids with autism, 18 months to 6 years of age. My business partner, Eddie Washington, he came to me about 6 months ago now and told me about ABAs, essentially. He told me about how there's a long waiting list and that kids with autism are struggling to find clinics that can support their needs, speech, occupational, behavioral. And so immediately, it kind of tugged at my heart because of the population that I hire at Howdy. And so Eddie and I teamed up and said, well, let's open one and let's see if we could tap into that statistic and help out that population.
And it's more than just for kids with autism.
Yes,
right?
yes,
what kind of kids?
Well,
you guys take.
We focus on kids with autism. So our clinic focuses on kids with autism, 18 months to 6 years of age. So we provide occupational therapy, speech therapy, and behavioral therapy to them. And so we're in the Cypress area, the Cypress community. We have 6 kids right now. Our max is 12. We're in with all major insurances, so we do bill insurance. But it's been great so far. The parents and the families that have came to our clinic so far love the clinic. It's peaceful. It's filled with love. My sister Dana Batson is the clinical manager there, and she has a background in teaching,
awesome.
in HISD. So she has a love for kids, and so it's
But tell me a little bit about it. Like, so basically insurance covers this.
Yeah, so insurance covers kids get dropped off at 8 a.m. and get picked up at 4 p.m. So it's like a daycare.
From a service. Like
yes. So parents drop their kids off at our ABA clinic instead of going to daycare. And when you drop them off at our clinic, when they're there from 8 to 4, they get speech therapy, occupational therapy, and behavioral therapy. So the goal is to get these kids acclimated with whatever challenge that they're facing. We try to provide them with the tools and resources to be able to integrate into a public school setting when they turn 6, right? So that's why we focus on 18 months to 6 years of age. So at 6, they can get into a public school setting and integrate right into a public classroom and function just like anybody else. So at our clinic, we focus on speech, occupational, behavioral, and we do bill insurance.
But it's only with kids with autism that you guys are focusing on. Now, tell me, so these kids, is it like a one-on-one session, or how does that work? It
is. So every child that comes is one-on-one with a RBT, which is a registered behavioral therapist. And then the BCBA, which is a board certified behavioral analyst, they write the treatment plan for the child. And then the RBT carries the treatment plan out. So every child has a 1-to-1 ratio with an RBT. And so all day long, that RBT works with that child to get them over whatever struggles that they may be facing. And so it's great because the out-of-pocket expense for a lot of these families are low because we are in network and we're billing insurances. So it's cheaper than going to daycare. And you get all your services under one umbrella, under one roof, instead of mom having to pick a child up for daycare and then go home and have a speech therapist come and occupational therapist come. We provide all of that between 8 and 4. So when the parent picks the child up, all their services are completed.
So how exactly do they get into the clinic?
Yeah, so it's an intake process. I mean, you can request a tour or to go through an intake process through Essential Speech and ABA Cypress.com. But essentially, the family comes to the clinic, and then they meet with my sister. My sister gives them enrollment paperwork, and we check the insurance verification to see what benefits they have. And we have an entire billing team that goes through that verification process. And once we see what insurance benefits they have, we can enroll the child.
But how does the child get diagnosed first, and then I guess the bigger picture, like more so like if, let's say, a mom is suspicious that, her daughter or son may have autism, and they're within that 18-month to 6-year range,
Mhm.
you know, like what exactly do they need to do in order to go into to get into that clinic?
Yeah, so a lot of them right now are going to their pediatrician or they're skipping a pediatrician and going straight to a pediatric neurologist or pediatric psychiatrist. And so that's where our referrals are coming from. Our referrals are coming from the pediatrician, pediatric neurologist, or pediatric psychiatrist. That's where families are taking the child to get assessed. After they get that autism diagnosis, then you can bring that autism diagnosis to the clinic. And that's what insurance wants to see. They want to see that they have an official diagnosis from a specialist, a psychiatrist or neurologist. And so you can go to your pediatrician, but they're most likely going to refer you to a specialist. But a lot of our referrals are coming straight from the specialist because once they diagnose, they have to refer you to an ABA clinic to get the treatment,
Right.
you know, and so that's where we're getting ours.
Now, I remember you telling me that kind of in between the diagnosis, some of them need like some sort of cognitive testing or
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah, can you elaborate upon that?
Yeah, so well, United Healthcare. United Healthcare is one of the insurance carriers that are wanting a little more than the autism diagnosis. So when they need that cognitive testing, they're needing to find like a neurologist that can really do that assessment. And so unfortunately, there's not many pediatric neurologists that are doing that. So the waiting list is like 6 to 8 months. And so a lot of families don't want to be on that waiting list so long because they want to get their kids into these clinics. But until you get the proper diagnosis or the cognitive testing, like you mentioned, insurance won't approve. And if insurance doesn't approve, it's too costly out of pocket, you know, to pay cash pay.
So,
you know.
is there a way for them to bypass it? Meaning that, you know, maybe can their doctor do a peer to peer, you know, like they call the insurance company and tell them, like, hey, you know, we know that there's data to support
Mhm.
early therapy,
Mhm.
you know, and so is there a way for the parents to maybe talk to their primary care or the neurologist or the psychiatrist and like I don't know, that's
Yeah.
this is
There-
your area of
Yeah, no,
specialty.
there is. It's a single case agreement. So you can do a peer to peer and ask the insurance to approve that, right? And so it's in the insurance's hands. The fastest way is to have the proper diagnosis and assessments. But if you want to bypass that, you can do a single case agreement and see if the insurance will accept it. And a lot of times they will if it's strong enough. If the case, you know, as
Yeah.
a physician, if you make a strong enough case, then
They'll do
accept.
it.
They'll accept. So you can always explore that avenue instead of waiting 6 to 8 months to be seen.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's worthwhile. I mean, it's worth. What do you have to lose, right?
Right.
I mean,
Because I do know, just from the limited knowledge I have, the earlier you treat them, the better the outcome. I mean,
Correct.
is that
Correct.
is that correct?
yeah, no, like anything, if you jump on it early, and that's why I focus on 18 months to 6 years of age, because the earlier you jump on it, the easier it is to teach them effective ways to cope and to deal with whatever struggles they may, you know, encounter.
And so basically, once they get out of that 6 years, where do they go from there?
So most public school settings, so where I'm at in Cypress and in Katy, Cypress ISD and Katy ISD have a program within their school system that implements, you know, therapy essentially during school hours. So once they turn 6 and they get enrolled in kindergarten or first grade, the, you know, local public school setting has therapists that they encounter with at that age. So
I see.
we kind of focused on the population that is not in school, and they would have to pay out of pocket and go after work hours to get therapy.
Right.
So instead of putting your kid just in a daycare without getting any therapy, you know, that's where our clinic comes in now.
Now I know every case is different, but you know, like let's say you know, an 18-month-old that recently got diagnosed, and you know, the insurance agrees to you know, to pay for their treatment and whatnot. How long is each session, and then how long does the therapy last? Like, is it a 6-month thing, a 3-month thing, or?
Yeah, so every 6 months you have to get a reauthorization, essentially.
Okay.
But it's they approve for 30 to 40 hours a week, essentially. So usually our behavioral therapist, you know, perform therapy for like 30 hours a week. So between 8 and 4 o'clock, they're in therapy maybe 5 or 6 hours a day, and that's speech, occupational, and behavioral. So that's usually what the insurance is approving if the child has the proper paperwork.
Right. And then this is a hard question. You probably won't know the answer to, but on average, how long is the total treatment? Is it 3 months, 6 months, or it just varies from case to case?
It's a case-to-case basis. Most kids are undergoing treatment for years, though, because like anything, when you stop, sometimes they regress. So a lot of them stay in the treatment until they're 8, 9, 10 years old. But it's really a case-to-case basis, though. It depends on where they're at on the spectrum, if they're high functioning, low functioning, or whatnot. Some don't need treatment for years. Some are okay after 6 months to a year. But 18 to 6 years of age, the ones that we're seeing, they probably would need treatment until they're well into elementary school.
Okay, so and that's just usually just once a week.
Yeah.
Treatment. Okay, and so in terms of success, what kind of metrics do you use to determine how effective that therapy is? Now I know there's a lot of data. I kind of cheated and read a little bit about it on on PubMed and up to date, but you obviously you would know more. But
so the BCBA does assessments, and so they do biweekly and sometimes monthly assessments to reassess the child. And so whether it's cognitive studies, whether it's speech pathologists coming and seeing like, are there, is speech improving? Are there gross motor skills? So at our clinic, we have a rock wall. And one of the visuals that we can do is starting off, we can see where that child, when they come in the door, do they have balance? Do they have, what are their motor skills looking like? And then after a month, are they able to get up partially up the wall? Can they walk on a balance beam? Like what visual things can you visually see a child improving on over 3, 4, 5 weeks of going through occupational therapy? So that's probably the easiest for a parent to see if they don't want to read, clinical studies and clinical data on, report cards essentially. But that's how we gauge it. We you see a child come in and they can't speak, has trouble with balance or whatnot. And after a month or two, they're walking on a balance beam and they're using, sight words. And so,
right.
Yeah.
So it's a hard question to answer, but on average, what would you say the success rate is?
So, you want to be over 90%. And so that's what we're striving to be over 90%.
High.
Yeah. So, if you stick to the true clinical studies that are in place, every child should get better. So you shouldn't regress, and there's no such thing as staying the same, right? So you should improve if you're doing what you say you are. So at our clinic, we strive to be the golden standard, and so we should have 100% success rate. Every child that comes through our door should improve in some form or fashion. Or what do you bill in insurance and collect the payment for? Right. So that's where we stand.
But in your experience, with your patients, what would you say your success rate is?
So our first one starts on the 14th. So I haven't started treatment yet on any. So in 2 or 3 months we'll be able. I can answer that more honestly.
Right. But in general, like just the concept of the it's ABA, right?
It's a very high success rate.
Okay.
It's a ABA therapy has a very high success rate, very high.
Yeah, so that's kind of consistent with what I read. Yeah. But like I said, you know more about it than I do.
It has a very high success rate.
That's good. So tell me, what motivated you to even do this? Because, I mean, I know I've known you for a while, Roger. I know you love children and all that. That's why we kind of clicked. But how did you even get into this? Like, what motivated you to even start one of these?
So if I go back 3 years ago, my cousin Ezra Roy, he passed away from Down syndrome. He's from Third Ward area. He kind of was the inspiration.
How old was he?
He passed away at 31 years of age.
Oh wow. Heart problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was my motivation for Howdy Homemade. I always saw that population, if given the right opportunities, they could thrive, right? And with a little patience and love, they can do anything. And so he was my motivation for starting Howdy Homemade Ice Cream and hiring individuals that look like him. And that was amazing success. So I always thought, like, what else can I do for that population? And God kind of always puts things in my lap and on my heart. And so when Eddie bought this to me, it just made all the sense in the world. If there's a need, we need to fill the need, right? So if God has blessed me financially in a way where I can take a swing at something like this to help even 12 kids out. I wanted to do so. So after doing my research, kind of like you did, and seeing that the success rates were there, there's a lot of kids that need it. 1 in 36 kids are diagnosed with autism. So there's a large population of kids with autism that are seeking services. And with the population just increasing, it was a no-brainer to me. You know, I had the means to do it, and so I jumped in. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, you know, ODR Children's Foundation, which is my nonprofit to help pay for parents that can't afford surgery. Roderick's one of our consistent donor. I'll never forget that first time I reached out to Roderick. I was like, hey, you know, literally, I think it was 5 minutes. And he was like, I don't know, at your son's football game or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, and then basically, I kid you not, the next day there was a deposit for $25,000. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And at that point, I knew that this guy right here.
Yeah.
So tell me, so if a parent right now has a child that is diagnosed already and is going to a therapy place, does the insurance allow them to go ahead and, let's say that the parents don't like that one place they're at? Because I know you, when you do things, customer service is always on top.
Correct.
And so if a parent, let's say, is currently at a therapy session, but they don't like that place in particular for whatever reason, you know, how does it work? Do they have to get a new diagnosis or?
No. You can switch clinics. You just need to switch to a clinic that is in network with the insurance carrier that you're with, because your your in-network expense has been met to a certain degree if you're already in another ABA clinic. So you can enroll into another ABA clinic with no problem. They would just do the intake verification to verify your insurance benefits. And if it has been met or hasn't been met, you know, y'all can discuss that financially, but it's easy to transfer from one clinic to another.
Okay.
Nothing restarts. You can easily do that.
So the parents don't need to explain why they want to switch.
No. You can switch at any time.
That's
anytime.
awesome.
As long as the clinic is in network with your insurance carrier.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not in network, but they have out-of-network benefits, they can still come see you.
You can still come see me. I have a program in place that can help you with the out-of-network benefits. So for individuals that maybe, you know, have some financial hardships, we do have a payment plan in place that can help those clients out.
Right.
But even if we're out of network with your insurance carrier, we can help out.
Now, each individual, from my understanding from talking to you about this, which is very cool, by the way, you know, it's just awesome how you have this special heart for children. But, you know, on average, you know, do the kids each have to go every week, or is it kind of like based on kind of what the therapist's assessment is?
Yeah, so at my clinic, they're there Monday through Friday. But again, the other option would be daycare, right? So these kids, instead of going to daycare, are coming to the clinic, because this clinic is essentially daycare, but with services.
I got you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So, but now, and then what about, like, do they feed them there and all that?
Yeah, just like daycare. Most of the kids with autism, they have eating restrictions. They have dietary issues. So most parents provide a lunch for the child. And so because it's 1-to-1, every child has their own RBT. They eat at different times of the day, but they do eat lunch at our clinic, and most do bring their own lunch.
Awesome. And so pretty much you're on pretty much all insurance plans.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good. So tell, you know, just basically, so how do they get a hold of, like, you know, so right now my understanding is that, you're in all the pretty much in all the insurance, and Medicare, Medicaid, everything, right? And then obviously all the commercial carriers, and so it's not open until.
No, we're taking enrollment now. So we have already 6 kids enrolled now. The first kid starts on the 14th, and then
October, September.
Yeah. So
oh wow, you're talking about
this week coming up.
3 days. Wow.
So we have our first coming in,
Yeah.
and then next week we have 2 more starting, and the week after that we have 3. So we
what's your maximum capacity
12.
that you can take?
12 kids.
Okay.
So we're at 6 right now. So we still have room for 6 more, because a BCBA, their caseload maxes at 12 kids. You don't really want to do more than 12 kids on one BCBA, because they have to do biweekly conferences with the parents. They have to do reassessments every 6 months, new intakes. Then they have to write treatment plans. So if you overload them with 15, 20 kids, it's too hard. It's not reasonable to ask of them to stay clinically sound without cutting corners, essentially, because it's just so much work. So we're going to keep it maxed at 12 so our BCBA doesn't get burnt out.
Right.
We'll never compromise money for care.
Of course.
Kind of like what you do, and so
absolutely.
that's why we click, we share the same ethics and principles,
Yes.
And so it's hard to find that in this day and age. I mean, you've been in the medical field like me. So
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, then, so let's say that you're maxed out at 12 kids, and they usually will be there probably until they, quote unquote, age out. Yeah. So basically, once you're maxed out at 12, then there's just no.
You create a waiting list, because, kids do move away. At 5, a parent may feel like they have progressed enough to now go to regular daycare or go to public school, pre-K program, Mother's Day Out program. So kids do come and go. And so we do create a waiting list. So if one leaves, we can enroll another.
Right.
And so, or we can refer you over to another clinic that we vetted. And I have a great partnership with one that I just recently met. He's an amazing guy. He has an ABA that's not too far from where I'm at, but we're gonna share and partner with each other and help each other out.
Right. So can you tell the audience basically, how did they actually get on the list? Because it looks like we're over. Your grand opening is this week. So how did they actually get onto the list or get into your clinic? Yeah.
So essentialspeechandaba.com is our website, and Essential Speech ABA Cyprus is our social media hashtags. And so, social media followings. And so if you just go to Essential Speech and ABA Cyprus, you can write us a message. You can email us, or you get on our website, and we have a link, an inquiry link or an interest link, and you can fill out the form there, and it goes straight to my email. And I'm always on my phone. I'm always able to respond, and so I can reach out immediately and get you into the clinic for a tour.
Oh, trust me. If he tells you he's gonna get back to you, he's gonna get back to you. Yeah, I've known Roderick. Yeah. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, that's important to me, man. Everybody should feel important. Nobody should be too busy for another individual. If we can help each other, we can.
That's really awesome.
So I'm always willing.
So the hours are from 8
to 4.
8 to 4. Yeah. So if, let's say, the parents are late, what happens after that? Does the clinic just close at 4, and then or is there like a little wiggle?
No, there's a window, so we can drop off as early as 7, and you can pick up as early as 5. As late as 5. So therapy is typically between 8 and 4, but if parents need to drop off at 7, they can. If they need to pick up around 5, they can also.
Right.
So we'll just have an RBT or an individual stay after or stay later if it's a situation where a family can't be picked up until 5. We'll arrange it. That's the beauty of having a smaller clinic with 12 kids. You can really make it concierge and really cater to the families that we have. Once you get 50, 60, 70 kids, it's hard to do that.
Right.
So we do have the ability to kind of tweak our pickup and drop off to make it fit the families that we serve.
That's awesome. And I think your therapist, I kind of looked her up. It looks like she's pretty, she's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's been around a long time. She's dealt with some very severe cases. She's dealt with mild cases. What I like most about her is that she's very personable, and her customer service is there. So I'm really big on customer service and being open communication with the families and stuff, because dealing with this population, they're very protective over their child, which they should be. All families should, but more importantly, families with individuals with special needs. And so I wanted to make sure that we hire individuals that understand that and that are really patient with the parents, communicate frequently with the parents, and just make the parents feel important so they don't ever have to second guess or question what you're doing with their child from 8 to 4. So that's what Morgan and Dana do really well outside of like the clinical piece. The clinical piece is cool, but if the parents don't feel comfortable, it's irrelevant, Just like as a surgeon, your bedside manner has to be what it is. That's why you have amazing reviews, right? If you had horrible bedside manner, you wouldn't have the crazy reviews that you have. Your results are amazing.
Better lucky than good, brother. Right? Yeah. It's better lucky than good.
But if your results are amazing, but people wouldn't feel comfortable even getting in the OR if your bedside manner wasn't what it is. And so you really have mastered that, and that's what separates yourself from the rest. And so that's what we really focus on. That customer service side is amazing. Right?
So basically, they're gonna get reports, they're gonna get all this, so that they can see how their child's progressing and all that.
Yeah, bi-weekly conferences with our BCBA, our RBTs. But if you want weekly conferences, we can arrange that too. So really, whatever brings peace and comfort to the family, we're able to do.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's backtrack a little bit about the Howdy Ice Cream. It's good. So so now tell me how and when did you get it into HEB? Because it's in HEB now, right?
It is 125 HEBs. So there's a contest called Quest for Best. Quest for Best is a contest that HEB does every year. We finished third out of thousands of contestants.
Oh wow!
And so
on making ice cream, you mean?
Well, no, it's various businesses. Anybody who was trying to get on the shelf at HEB had to compete for the Quest for Best product. It's just a product-based competition. Our ice cream was just one of the products. So you have people that make sauces, you got people that make tortillas. I mean everything, right?
I see.
And we were one out of the many thousands of contestants, and we finished third overall.
Wow.
So when you finish top 5, you get a spot on HEB's shelf. So because we finished third, we were picked up by 125 HEBs around Texas. And just today, actually, Randall's and Albertsons picked us up.
Oh,
so now, yeah. So we have 110 Randall's and Albertsons just picked us up to carry our line. And so, again, it's just a blessing, man, because the more individuals that we can hire with special needs, or the more publicity we could put around hiring that population, the better. Not to get too biblical, but in the Bible, there's a scripture where these guys were fishing on the right side of the boat and they didn't catch any fish. And so Jesus came and he said, "Have you tried fishing on the left side of the boat?" And they said no, and they did, and instantly they started catching fish. And so I kind of use that as a reference when we're out here hiring. You could try to hire just like every other restaurant industry is hiring, but it's a reason that the turnover is so high in these restaurant industries. And there's a reason at Howdy we have a waiting list that's like 60 to 70 people. It's because we're fishing on the left side of the boat. Everybody else is on the right, right? And so we try to think outside the box, and we go for the individuals that others overlook. They classify them as special needs, and they classify them as differently able. But, if you really think about it, everything that I've needed to learn in life, I learned from them. When they show up to work, they don't look at the clock. When they work at my cash register, I don't have to worry about them stealing from me. They don't bring real world problems into the workplace. Whether you're Elon Musk or you're a janitor at a local convenience store, they treat you the same way, man. And these are just things that I want to instill in my kids, and these are things that naturally come to this population. And so it's a little disheartening to hear individuals like pass them up or not want to give them the same opportunity because they look different than we do. or they may learn a little slower than we may learn, right? But when you actually give them opportunity, the customer service is second to none. Um, and then the vibe in the restaurant, the store is second to none because you have a group of people who really love life and they love what
Right.
they do, and they don't have another opportunity. And so, coming from humble beginnings, if we know that all we have is this job and that's all we have, we're gonna cherish and value that, right? And that's how they feel. There's nothing else that they can do. There's not other opportunities for them that exist. So they really cherish the opportunity that was given to them. And it's something as simple as work. And so I just want to keep on putting that in people's face, and hopefully other businesses, can follow suit. I don't want to take credit for doing this. God put it on my heart, and all the gifts that I have are really His gifts. I'm just trying to share them with people. But I do hope that other businesses aspire to just take a look at the population. In North Texas alone, there's over 225,000 individuals with special needs that are actively seeking employment. So when you drive around and you see these now hiring signs, you're searching for employees because you're not looking for the ones that are really right in your face, And
Right.
so I get off my soapbox, man, but that's where I stand with that.
That's really cool. And then I remember you told me about Hurricane Harvey. You guys raised a lot of money to try to help.
We did
help the community.
We did. Yeah, I always jump out there, as you've seen many times before, and try to raise as much as I can to help those in needs. And so not just Harvey, but Katrina. I mean, any type of this, disaster that has come through, I've got together with some of my buddies, and we've done as much as we can. The city of Houston, through a great friend of mine, Danielle, she's been able to allocate funds for us, that they go back to the community. I have some amazing donors that always jump behind me if I ever reach out and need a hand. But as you mentioned, Hurricane Harvey, we raised, man, north of $900,000, man.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that we gave back. So
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about, all of this, obviously your childhood probably kind of set the stage for what you do now, So, I'm pretty sure you probably didn't come from wealth.
Nah, man. I can't. I came from humble beginnings, man. But my mom was a school teacher, and my dad was a biomedical engineer at MD Anderson. But it wasn't money, man. It was the principles and ethics that they instilled in me. Hard work, treating your neighbor. I grew up in the church, and so my mom was very, very, very heavy about treating your neighbor with love, and not judging individuals. What you do behind doors is who you really are. When the lights aren't on, like, who are you then? And so I was raised old school, and I think that has a lot to do with why I moved the way I move now. I always vowed, I always promised myself, like, if God gave me an opportunity to be an inspiration to others, I wanted to. And I made a lot of mistakes when I was growing up, and He always put me back on my feet and helped me recover. And so,
we all do.
Yeah. No, we do. But some people are scared to own that, and some people are scared to talk about it. And I feel like that's a part of your testimony.
Yeah.
And so I
that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah, I credit my parents for sure, man. They were very present. They were always there. They always had my back, and they always kept me grounded. You know what I mean? They never let me veer too far left or right. And so now that I'm a parent, I want to do the same thing, but not just for my kids. Like I said, the gifts that I have, the gifts that you have, they're not really ours. I feel like God is just temporary placing those in our hands and seeing what we do with them, right? And so that's why I'm so giving. People say, well, man, Rod, you're so giving. You always want to share game with people. You always want to give your money. At the end of the day, if people take advantage of me or burn me or do things foul to me, that's them that has to pay for that, not me, right? I don't ever want the world to change who God made me to be. If I conform to the world, I'd be just like everybody else in the world. And so no matter how many dishonest people I encounter, I'm going to stay true to who I am, because I really feel like I found my purpose. and I won't let anybody take me off of that route, right? And so,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, and so, humble beginnings taught me a lot, and so no matter how successful I am, no matter how many amazing things God blesses me with, I'll still be the same dude I was back in 2005 when I was in high school. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So,
Oh no, I've known you for 5 years, and
yeah,
business has been up and up for you,
Yeah.
and it was still the same old Roger.
Yeah. I never changed.
Nothing different. No.
You can't let that, because money is paper. It's just material. So a lot of times people say, man, Rod, your ice cream shop's booming. I see a line outside the door. You must be making a lot of money. And to me, I feel like you quantify and you measure success the wrong way.
That's right.
There's guys that are billionaires, but they could be a pedophile. Would you change places with them?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if you just look at money, that is paper at the end of the day. That's all. And that's your measure of success. You got it all wrong. Success to me is like freedom and happiness and being the greatest blessings to as many people as you can. And so that's how I measure my success, on who I can inspire when I get these messages and stuff like that, of like the lives that I was able to change through guidance that I was able to give or whatever may have you. I feel like that's the true definition of success. So this is our temporary home, man. This is it, right? And at the end of our journey, who do we really help?
Exactly.
In a real way. And so that's my focus.
No, that's a very good advice. I remember one of my mentor told me, he's never seen a surgeon on a deathbed wishing that they did that extra deal, did that extra couple cases. But what they regret is, I didn't make friends with this guy, or I lost friendship over this guy because of money.
Yeah.
And I to me anyways, I think today society now is all about keeping up with the Jones.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think, people like you, that put your heart and soul into helping children, because at the end of the day, they are our future.
Yeah, that's it.
I just find that so impressive.
No, man, you got to stay grounded, man. And you have to remember where you come from. And then you have to remember, so many people out there don't have the luxuries of life that we do. And that's why I like to travel, and not just here nationally. I like to go abroad, because it just reminds you of how many lives out there still need to be touched, how many people are still looking for that hope and that inspiration that you and myself and viewers today can provide. I've been blessed to meet some amazing people. I just bumped into somebody randomly. She's in San Antonio, named Priscilla, and she's doing some amazing things in the San Antonio community, but she shares the same heart, drive, and mission that we're talking about right now. And I didn't know her from a can of paint, but, sitting back and watching her movement and how she's helping so many women in the San Antonio community. And she came from humble beginnings, and she's sharing her message, and she's trying to, inspire these girls out there to boss up and glow up and become entrepreneurs. It's just amazing to see, because those are the individuals that don't get the spotlight. They don't get the credibility. Those are the ones that the haters come after. Those are the ones that face all the trials and tribulations. The one that's out here knocking everybody gets all the high fives and the hoorahs, and so it's a trying journey, but it's a rewarding journey if you stay true to it. I mean, look at your story, and look at my story. It's been trying. It's been trying. It's always trying. I mean,
right.
There's probably a headache that you're going through right now today, that
every
people
day,
don't
brother.
know, that you keep a smile. So, but it's a beautiful thing at the end of the road, because even though we're beat, our smile may be exactly what somebody needed to push on,
Right.
And so you just got to stay true to that. God called his toughest soldiers to fight the toughest battles, so it is what it is. You got to make it happen, man.
No, that's amazing. So, check out Howdy Ice Cream. It's in Katy. And I think there's only one, right?
Yeah, so there's only one in Houston. We have 5 locations, though, around the nation. We have one in Dallas, one in Katy. We have one in Indianapolis, Asheville, and one in Denver, Colorado.
Right.
Yeah, and so here in Houston, this is the only one. So if you have a chance, come to Howdy Homemade.
They make it fresh right there. Yeah.
We make it in the back every day.
And if you can't make it, then HEB.
Try HEB,
Yep.
yeah.
And then You said Albertson and Randall's.
Albertson and Randall's just picked up today.
That?
Yep.
That's awesome.
So that's cool too. And every pint that is bought or every scoop that is purchased in store supports employment for individuals with special needs. So that's dear to my heart because every dollar we raise, it goes right into that community. And they're very appreciative. So
right. So you basically it's kind of an ongoing thing.
Correct.
We're just to keep giving,
that's it.
Children that may not or people that may not have the opportunities like you and me.
Correct. We employed over 37 individuals at that one ice cream shop. So people say, man, your payroll is astronomical. Well, that was the whole purpose of getting into it. Right. We wanted to start the shop to hire as many individuals with special needs as we could. So it's not to take a profit home. We have other companies for that. This is strictly to generate more jobs. And so, numbers show we started with 11 individuals and now we have 37.
Wow.
So as the shop increases, more jobs are being filled. And so that's the whole purpose of why we do at Howdy. And so we appreciate everybody who has supported us from HEB sales to in-store sales. It's allowed 37 individuals to have a job that didn't once have a job. 90% of them never worked before in their life.
Wow.
And they're 30, 40, 50 years old. And so it's when you come in the store and you meet them and you see them, you'll fall in love the same way we did.
I remember I saw you on the news. They interviewed you about it. Yeah, and that was it's been about what, 3 years?
Yeah, it's going on 2.5 years now.
Okay.
We've been on a lot of news stations. A lot of news stations here in Houston have covered us. They support us, so I'm very thankful for them. Channel 211, Channel 26, Channel 13, they're all very supportive. Any event we have, they come out. News reporters have been amazing. The embracing of the community has been amazing, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, I have no complaints.
And so this ABA clinic really is a continuation of your mission to.
So a lot of my Howdy heroes will be there on this Sunday, my grand opening. They're coming out. We're giving free ice cream to everybody, and so my employees will be
definitely gonna be there.
Yeah. So my employees will be there. We'll have a car show. Our brother Chavez is bringing out some of his cars, so it'll be a good time. It's free. Everything's free. We really just want to give back to the community and allow them an opportunity to see our clinic, right? So everything is free. It's a family fun day from 2 to 4 this Sunday. And if you come out, man, we'll love to see you.
Where is it going to be at?
It's at the clinic. It's 10424 Greenhouse Road.
Okay.
And it's at the Essential Speech and Therapy ABA Clinic, Cypress.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you. I know you're a busy guy, but I really appreciate you coming on here and telling everyone your story.
Yeah.
How I've known Roderick for about 5 years, going on 5 years.
It flew, man.
Yeah.
Great dude. He's the same guy I met 5 years ago, man. Amazing outcomes. I've referred many people to him, and they can't stop raving about him. So he's a great guy, man. And that's the reason I'm here. I don't give my time to many people, just like he doesn't. We're busy, and so. But anytime he calls, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm coming. So,
no, he's serious too, and
it doesn't matter what he calls.
Nowadays it's hard.
It's impossible almost, but there's still some good ones that exist, and so I make sure to always be there for those.
And I'm a big believer in good will bring good.
Oh yeah, for sure. You surround yourself around good people, and it'll come. It's impossible.
But it's just amazing how you. Came from pretty much nothing, kind of say, to become who you are today. And what's impressive about you is I've known you for 5 years and you never change.
No, you can't.
You're still always the same guy. Yeah. Still use a broke phone case.
Yeah. Phone case halfway followed up.
I mean, let me buy you a new one.
I need to. I passed up. I was at the Galleria. Mall yesterday. Passed up 3 booths that I could have bought one at. And I thought about it too. I said, man, do I want to stop? Just keep walking. End up buying some $600 Golden Goose shoes. And then buying $20 phone case, man. How retarded.
Let me buy you one, brother. I can't have you walking around like that.
I mean, it still works though.
No, what's most important is that, the right people call you.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's amazing, and truly, it's humbling to have a friend like you, brother.
Yeah.
It's just,
thank you.
Not even a friend, but like a true brother. I mean, and the fact that we both have a passion for children, it's just, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That, when I when I first met Roderick, I didn't know any of this. We kind of just met mutually through a friend, and the more I learn about him, the more I'm like, wow. I mean, this guy truly, I don't know what it is that one particular thing that molded you, but I'm pretty sure life molded you.
Yeah.
And and years of success. I can see years of success coming to you. You never heard anything bad about you, just a real laid back, and I like the fact that you just help without needing acknowledgement.
Yeah, nah. You'll get the acknowledgement, at the end of the day. So
right.
You don't have to.
The one, the one you need to get acknowledgement from is the man upstairs.
And he
That's
sees it every day. So
yeah.
When you stay true to that, you're okay.
No, but I really appreciate you coming, Roger. I know you're busy, super busy and all that. But if you could tell the audience one more time how they can, Howdy Ice Cream, support them.
HowdyHomemadeKaty.com is our website, and Howdy Homemade Katy, Kety, is our Instagram and Facebook, and then Essential Speech and ABA Cypress is our social media with my ABA clinic. So if you can follow us on either one of those or reach out, I would love to interact with you and see you one day.
Yeah, and trust me, Roderick will not hire people that won't be the best. It has to be the best. So, if you have a child that's been diagnosed and, wants to work with the best, this man right here will get you there. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I appreciate you being on here. I know you're busy as heck, but the fact that you took time out to kind of just give the community a little bit more knowledge on where because it's a devastating diagnosis, but just to know that there is things out there like the ABA clinic that can actually change their course. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And get them,
gives them some hope.
Give them some hope.
Yep.
And letting them be able to assimilate into society. That's
no,
it's huge. I mean, that thing is huge. And and I know you have a lot of businesses. You don't need to do this, but you did this because of because of your love of children and just wanting to give back to the community. And that in and of itself is just amazing. Yeah. I know you put out a lot of your own money to just and to help people, and I just like the fact that you don't even want to be acknowledged for that. Well, those are real true donors.
Exactly.
Nowadays it's always
like, what can you do for me?
Yeah, what can you do for me, right? Versus with you, it's like just like when you donated to my charity, I had no idea, but you and I know I wasn't supposed to say it, but Roderick did ask me not to mention it, but he's here, so it's my show, so I get to do whatever I want.
That's true.
So, but like I said, I really appreciate you coming on here, letting people know about a speech therapy place. Well, I mean, it's everything. It's all encompassing for children with autism. And you said 18 months to 6 years.
18 months to 6 years.
Yeah.
Old,
And if you're currently at your therapy place that you don't like, it sounds like it's easy to just transition over. Yeah, and then you pretty much take every insurance out there. Yeah, so that's just amazing. Yeah, because some insurance don't pay as well as other, but the fact that you take every single insurance, that just shows like
not cherry picking.
Yeah, you're not cherry picking. You just want kids diagnosed with autism to get a second chance.
That's it.
Or to better assimilate into the community.
Correct.
And that is just, that's amazing work.
Yeah.
That's God's work.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I have a friend that's like you. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Thank you.
So I really appreciate you coming on, and and hopefully we can bring you back on
anytime.
next episode.
Anytime.
This is an interesting man. Trust me on this. He's got a lot of stories. You're gonna want to hear it. So, but like I said, thanks for being here,
definitely.
and continue doing what you're doing, brother. And and please, everybody, support Howdy Ice Cream. Give everyone a shot at, a second chance. And, trust me on this when I tell you, whatever he touches turns into gold. And so give that therapy place a chance, and you will understand why I've been friends with Roderick for like 5 years, and not even a friend. I call him a brother, and there's a reason why. And so, but once again, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
so.
thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Priceless, take it to the moon. Priceless, one day will be soon. Like it's priceless, take it to the moon.